Guiteau. Story of assassination.
Charles Guiteau was born in Freeport, Illinois. He moved with his family to Woollile, Wisconsin, now Grafton, Wisconsin, in 1850, and lived there until the death of his mother in 1855. Soon after, Guiteau and his father moved back to Freeport. After inheriting $1,000 from his grandfather, Guiteau traveled to Harlem, New York to attend New York University. However, he failed his entrance exams due to inadequate academic preparations. After his failed attempts to attend New York University, Guiteau tried his hands at some remedial French and algebra. However, he eventually quit and joined the utopian religious sect known as Oneida. During the 1880 presidential election, Guiteau wrote numerous letters to a small newspaper supporting Garfield. When Garfield won the election, 214 to 155 electoral votes, Guiteau insisted that he was the cause of the president's victory and therefore deserved compensation. Guiteau wanted to be ambassador to Austria or head of the consulate in Paris. After haranguing the White House insistently over the positions, he was prohibited from ever setting foot in the White House again. Charles Guiteau borrowed $15 from a Mr. Maynard and bought a revolver at a sporting goods store. The revolver was an ivory-handled, .44 caliber British Bulldog. He checked into the Riggs Hotel, room 222, on the night before he was to execute his plan. Guiteau arrived at the rail station early on July 2nd and waited for the president to arrive, lurking about the train station to find a proper point of attack. President James Garfield planned to leave Washington, D.C. around 9:30 in the morning on July 2nd, 1881, from the Baltimore and Potomac train station. He was going to meet up with First Lady Lucretia Garfield in Massachusetts for a long-awaited and well-deserved vacation. Ironically enough, the president's assigned boxcar was number 222, the same as the hotel room in which Guiteau checked in just days prior to the tragedy. Dr. Smith Townsend was the first doctor to reach Garfield and attempt treatment. Unimaginable in today with 21st century technology, doctors probed the president's wound with unsterilized instruments and searched for the bullet lodged deep within his back. The first X-ray machine was not to be invented until November 8, 1895 by Wilhelm Conrad Roentgen. When doctors examined Garfield's wounds, they believed that it was not serious. However, Garfield smiled and replied, "Thank you, doctor, I'm a dead man." On July 26, young Alexander Graham Bell brought an apparatus to the White House, which he worked on for several days, combining two different inventions to create a metal detection device. He attempted to locate the bullet with the new device, which he referred to as an induction balance. The attempt was to no avail.
The bullet was lodged in President Garfield's back, directly behind the pancreas. Interestingly enough, the bullet itself was not fatal. The subsequent unsterilized probing of the wound and the infection thereafter, septic poisoning, was the ultimate cause of death, 11 weeks after the incident. President Garfield died on September 19, 1881, at 10:30 p.m. in the middle of the night. Vice President Chester Alan Arthur was sworn in as the new President of the United States. After Garfield's death, the government officially charged Guiteau with murder. He was indicted on October 14, 1881. The indictment was previously attempted immediately after Guiteau shot Garfield, but failed. He had two defense attorneys, despite the fact that he insisted on representing himself the whole trial. His case was one of the first major cases in American history when insanity was considered. He claimed that although he was legally insane at the time of the shooting, he was never, and was not at the time of the trial, medically insane. A testifying Dr. Spitzka claimed Guiteau had the insane manner he had seen in asylums, adding that Guiteau was a morbid egotist who misinterpreted and overly personalized the real events of life. He was a media sensation during his trial. He cursed and insulted the judge, most of the witnesses, the prosecution, and even the defense teams. He formatted his testimony in epic poems which he recited at length and solicited legal advice from random spectators in the audience via pass notes. He asked President Chester A. Arthur to set him free through a letter, as he had raised Arthur's salary. This obviously did not work. During his trial, he was housed at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in the southeastern part of Washington, D.C. He was found guilty on January 25, 1882. When found guilty, he cursed out the courtroom and the jurors. He continued to smile and wave to reporters as he was being walked to the gallows.
Fun facts. Part of Guiteau's ring is on display in the Mutter Museum in Philadelphia. The last words Guiteau said before he was dropped on the gallows were "Glory, glory, glory."